So you're tired, you're exhausted, you don't know if your life's ever gonna get better. It seems that every time that you try, it just gets worse and worse. It seems that bad luck found you. And you're probably right. Bad luck did find you, but that doesn't mean that you can't move from where you are right now. I was there, and not too long ago, I was there, and I was rock bottom. I was at the bottom. I was on the floor, and I went to a really dark place, and it was extremely difficult to get out of there. And maybe you're there, and maybe you're thinking, there's no way that I'm going to find a solution. Or maybe you're heading there. Maybe you don't even need to get there. So this is reminding yourself, this is a space that I am building. It's really a journal of my progress from where I was at the very bottom of my life all the way to my process of getting out of there, getting up, getting better, and still on that journey, because I think you have to understand that it's not a destination. That journey's never going to end. You're never going to reach the pinnacle of anything. You're always going to have to keep striving to being better. But let me tell you what I did, right? This is what worked for me. And I watched a lot of videos. I listened to a bunch of stuff. Nothing was working. And I needed to go inside me and figure out what it is that I needed to do for me. Because what worked for him, it just, maybe I took a little bit here, a little bit there, but it was just very difficult because when you're in that dark place, everything is dark. You don't see the light. And someone can give you a flashlight and you don't even turn it on. And if someone gives you a rope, you probably won't use it to climb out of the hole. So it's something that you have to just go inside you. I mean, you have no choice at this point. If you're at the place I was, you have no choice but to figure you out. And it comes a point where you give up. And that giving up is your new birth. It's saying, like, you literally, that old person died, and then new person emerges, and now you're a little bit fearless from what could happen, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. So these are the four areas. These are the four corners that were broken corners in my box. So everything was just not working. Everything was leaking out. And when you're in this dark place, I just want to warn you about this. There are many options. Some people go towards even more destruction, self-destruction. They look for things that slowly take their life away. And there's other people that decide that, no, I'm not going to stay down. I'm going up, because it's not about that you fell. It's not that you're on the floor. It's that get up, right? Like, yeah, you fell, you'll be okay. But it's hard to think that you can just get up and be okay when you are on the floor, because all these other things are happening. So don't drown in your own self-pity. Don't drown in your own victimhood. At some point, you got to take some responsibility that you are at a place in your life that you got there. Because even if you, it's because, I was in a place where, in a really bad place financially, emotionally, my relationship, my marriage, with my health. I mean, anything you can think of, I was probably suffering from something. And when all of these things collapse, and you find yourself in that place where all of these boxes start checking out, you will, you will get to that desperation, but you really got yourself there. Because even if I had a problem with my partner, my relationship, at the end of the day, I chose that relationship, right? Because, yeah, maybe I got not the compatible person that I needed, but they didn't force me. I let it go, and I let it go, and it became what it became. And when it just crumbles, I can only blame me because I probably, looking back, I could have probably seen signs way earlier that would have allowed me to make a different transition than the one that was sort of forced upon me. And speaking of that aspect, same thing financially. I, allowed a lot of things that also trickle from the relationship to do a lot of mistakes for my inability to say no, right? But we're not here to talk about how we got here, right? We're here to talk about how to get out. And these are the four pillars. So the first thing you got to do is spiritual, then physical, then your status, and then your connection. So I'll explain a little bit. In your spiritual, you have to believe in something. Even if you don't believe in God, or you don't believe in, or you do believe, or your religion is whatever. We're not speaking religion. We're not speaking belief as in faith. We're speaking in, you have to choose a belief. You can't go through life not believing, because even if you don't believe in God, that is a belief. That you believe that God doesn't exist. If you believe in God, then you believe that God exists. But when you're in this dark place, those beliefs go away. You don't know what you believe. You're not even thinking in a spiritual sense. You're in the terrestrial, you're suffering. So you're not really looking into the real thing that's going to start pulling you out, which is that spiritual realm. Because if you don't believe in whatever you don't believe in, or you do believe, you have to embrace now that belief. Because if you don't believe in God, then that means that it's up to you. It means that no one's going to come to save you. You better get up and get it done. And if you do believe in God, then you better start connecting with God and allow God to take you where he's going to take you. So it doesn't matter. That's what I mean. It's not religion, but you have to decide what is it that you believe in, and believe it 100%. That's the first thing. And you have to trust your intuition. I think your intuition, whether you believe it or not, it exists. And your intuition is going to tell you where to go, left, right. And when you don't have any belief system, then your intuition is off. Your intuition is your GPS. But if you don't believe in anything, or that there's a lack of something, then your intuition is off. But when you start believing and you embrace that belief, then that intuition turns on, and you start hearing that voice inside you that's going to tell you, okay, let's get up. Okay, this isn't as bad as you think. Okay, it's that voice is gonna, it's almost like you have a psychic inside you. That intuition is gonna start lifting you up slowly, just giving you the clues that for you to follow, for you to get up. So that's the first pillar. You have to have a spiritual awakening. And again, you don't have to believe in spirits, you don't have to believe in God or anything. You have to have an awakening. You have to go, wait, it's up to me, or wait, it's up to God. But you have to choose. Next thing is the physical restoration, right? Because that belief is going to take you into your mind connecting with either a higher power, or connecting with your own self, or whatever it is going to give you that little, a little push to get up. That's that breath. And then your physical restoration it's crucial, and it's one of the simplest, easiest things you can do, is start treating your body right. And when I by that is, it's like, not, I'm not talking about diets. I'm not talking about even going to the gym, any of that. At this point, if you're in this place, you need to prioritize your health. You need to understand that you are suffering, and your health suffers because of that suffering. You don't have to have a physical ailment to feel pain. And when you start prioritizing your health immediately, right now, meaning, okay, you don't have to change your diet. Maybe it might be a difficult thing. Or maybe you're not eating right. But what you could do is start supplementing, right? And there are certain vitamins, and you can look them up and see what fits you, or talk to your doctor, whatever you got to do. There's certain vitamins that are going to immediately put you in a better situation with your health. And some of these vitamins are going to affect your focus. They're going to affect your mood. Well, worked for me is that, like my regimen, I went hardcore on vitamin B's, the complex. I also supplemented extra with vitamin B6, vitamin B12. I mean, I was just Googling and taking vitamins, like what was gonna get my mood right. Uh, there's certain herbs, St. John's Wort. There's and so a lot of these things, you need a few days. You don't just take it and you feel good. You need that week or two of taking them in the morning, taking them at night. Really strong regimens of supplemental vitamins that are going to help your body get back. If you can't do all of that, get a multivitamin, start taking that and take it twice a day. Whatever you got to do to start getting the nutrients that you need. Because if you try to change your diet and do all of that, that's a big complex thing. Just start supplementing, because I'm sure that when you're at that space, you're not taking care of everything that you need to take care of. So you need to supplement just in case you're not eating right, just in case you're not getting the right nutrients. Your mind and your brain are not foggy, that you're able to at least have energy so that you can get up. So that's the reason that you want to do that. So if you can do that, then forget the gym and the diet, because that will come. But your own body is gonna get you there. Get this first. Get the supplement first. And if once you get the supplements, start looking at your diet. Start saying, okay, what is the diet that I want? And go there. But first, supplement. You need to get that mind right. The third pillar, status and purpose. So we may think that, oh, I don't care about my status. I don't care about my purpose. And that's a huge mistake, because that is part of the reason that depression sets in, when you don't feel that you belong in this world, when you don't feel that there's anything you can do, when you just feel that life is just like this waste of time. And you if you get really dark, you will get there. You will get there, and all sorts of not positive thoughts are going to creep in, and hopefully they never catch you at the wrong time, because they could be really, really detrimental to you. So one thing that's, after you get that spiritual connection, because see, the spiritual connection, you could be laying there depressed and connect with that spiritual realm or with whatever you want to believe in. That's why it's the first one, because you don't even have to get up to connect spiritually. Then the supplements are, it's almost like a fire starter. I think once you start and you see 7 days of supplementing with as many vitamins and nutrients as you can get to help you, you're going to see a difference. 7 days, 14 days, definitely you're going to see a difference. And then that'll get you, now you have that little bit more energy. You're feeling better about the world around you because of the spiritual awakening that hopefully you're having. And then now it's time to define your purpose. You have to define it, that your purpose doesn't find you. What you're meant to do here on this planet is not written anywhere. You choose. You choose, and hopefully that thing will connect with you and make something happen for you. But you have to make that the definition of that purpose. You have to say, my purpose, I'm going to do blah, blah, blah. For example, when I was in that dark spot, the reason I'm even doing this video right now is because this is one of the purposes that I set out. I chose this purpose to say, wow, that was a hole that I don't want anyone else to ever get there, because some people may not be able to get out of where I got out of. So this is my way of saying, hey, if I can save one person from 8 billion people in the world, that's my purpose. So this video is that. This video is my way of telling you, hey, it's not as bad as you think, but you're not gonna understand that yet. That's why you have to do these steps, so that you can get to that place of understanding. And hopefully you choose a purpose where you actually help other people as well. Because if we all start doing this, get out of our situations, our depression, that hole, and we help that next man, and he starts helping, and we pay it forward, I think we would be better off as a society in general. So your purpose is very important once you get to this level. And then start seeking freedom and not money, because in the financial situation, when you're, and a lot of times depression, that's one of the first triggers, that financial, it might be the last straw, that financial situation, because once all these other things start failing, it's only a matter of time, because before that money or that source of income or whatever it is, your situation, it starts failing as well. It's just, I mean, it's written in the cards. That's the way that it kind of crumbles. So when you start seeking that freedom, and don't think of money, really think of freedom. Is it, the money is a tool for your freedom. So if you want to travel, okay, that's something that I, as part of my purpose, I said, I'm going to travel. I mean, everyone always says that. Everyone says they're going to travel one day. They're going to go to France, Italy, China. It never happens, not for most people. And there's a few people that actually make it happen, but it's because they have the freedom to do so. If you're stuck at a 9 to 5, if you're stuck at a situation where you can't make enough money to travel, or you don't have vacation time because you're, obviously that's not freedom, not if that's one of your goals. So start looking at freedom. What is freedom? Paying off your mortgage, paying off your car. Maybe you don't have a car note. Maybe that's freedom for you. Maybe if you save 50 grand in the bank, that'll give you a sense of freedom. Define your freedom. What's that freedom? And then work towards the freedom, not towards the money. Because if you work towards the money, but you don't change your lifestyle, you're going to be back at the same place. So you can make $1 million, spend $1 million, you're still broke, just like the next guy that makes $2 and spends $2. So freedom, change your perspective on money. Because also when you stop thinking about how much money you don't got, you start thinking about how much freedom you do got. And that freedom is free. It's here, it's everywhere. And you're abundant in that. And the choices that you make are going to give you more freedom or less freedom. So that's one thing that really helped me get out of, when you're in the situation, if you don't have the money, you just don't have the money, right? But once you start searching for that freedom, and you start doing all these other things in the pillars, that you start seeing that money will come in. It will, and it'll be more than you can ever need. And it'll be a time where, you'll be like, wow, like now that I have all of this that I thought I needed, I don't even really want it or need it. I just sitting there, so that freedom will take, that part above money, and make it more of a priority. And that's going to really change you, just changing that little bit of thing in your head. Um, and the third thing here on the status and purpose, is, connect with your why, not only your purpose, right? So I am doing these videos, or I am doing whatever my purpose is, and I'm doing a million other purposes that come, and I'm like, oh wow, I want to, you start getting motivated as you go through these pillars and you get better. But when you connect with your why, it's like, why? But why am I doing that at the end of the day? Because if not, you go back to just spinning in circles, and then you're going to go back to where you came from, because you didn't have a real purpose. You just chose something, but you need to understand why you chose it. So for example, these videos, maybe my son is one day going to watch this, and maybe this is something that might save him, maybe something that's going to help him. So my why is bigger than me. And you got to look for that why. You got to look for what's in the big picture. Why, right? Why? And if that why is not clear, or you can't think of it, then that's not your purpose. Your purpose, the why will be very, very clear. So make sure that you understand your why that goes along with your purpose. And the pillar number 4, authentic connection. And that's not about relationships necessarily. It is, but it's not about women or your ex or finding someone or being lonely, or it's not that. It's about, maybe you are lonely, maybe there's no one around you, and you do need certain connections. It's kind of like work, right? You gotta be around people at work. It doesn't matter if you have your own business, if you're the CEO, or if you're a painter. at some point you're gonna come into interaction with people, and there's an exchange of energy there. So you need to be authentic about who you are and about the people around you. Don't, don't people please. That's a big no-no when you're in this situation. That's not where you want to be. You don't want to keep that smile. If that smile is not there, it's not there. So I had to fake smiles until I realized I don't feel like smiling, and I stopped smiling, and that made me smile. It's when you get here, you'll understand that authentic means I like you or I don't like you. I am who I am, and this is the way I am, and I am living for me and for the freedom that I'm looking for, and I have a bigger purpose. I know my why, and I have a spiritual awakening. I know what this world is about from my perspective, and whatever you think doesn't matter because you can't change who I am. Right? You can't influence who I am. Stop letting people influence you. So the authentic connections is if that X is not working, it's not working. And don't feel guilty about it. Don't feel bad that it didn't work out. It just didn't work out. It's okay. And I think for a lot of us, we stay in these long relationships longer than we should because we think that there's one, that we're supposed to, two, that if you're not, if you're getting treated in a way that you don't deserve, that it's too late, or that there's nothing better out there, that maybe you can't make it without this person. And also, a lot of times when you're in long-term relationships, now I'm just switching to the relationship specifics here, but when you're in a long-term relationship, then it's not just leaving that person. Sometimes there's kids involved. Sometimes there's other family, that's been integrated. So it's a lot more than just not being with that person. Is leaving that world that you probably created together, but it's a world that's collapsed and it's not working. And then you start thinking about the repercussions of what if, and what if I fail, and all of these things. Is you really overthinking it. Your intuition, if you turned it on, one of the other pillars, if your intuition is going to tell you if this is where you should be and you should work things out, or if this is what you should not be and you gotta go. You gotta listen to you. No one's going to tell you. No one external to you is going to tell you. No one. Your intuition will tell you what it is that you need to do, and trust it 100%. It's never going to lead you astray because your intuition might have told you that what you needed to hear 7 years ago and you're still there. So don't feel guilty about making the right decisions. Be brave. Have some courage. Have some courage. Don't was it out trying to do something that's just not meant for you. You're missing your entire destiny because you're stubborn. Right? Now, if your intuition is telling you there's things you could do better, there's things that you can work on to fix certain things in your relationship or your life or whatever's happening, listen to your intuition as well and start working on those things. But your intuition is going to tell you one way or the other. Don't let your ego be the one telling you what to do. Let your intuition tell you, because your intuition doesn't have an ego. Your intuition is going to do whatever is best for you. It has your survival at heart, your best interest at heart. Your ego is about preserving that grandeur, that preserving that what you would call it, like that you thinking that you're special. Because at the end of the day, the reason that you're crashing, if you're crashing like I was, is because you start thinking that you're special, that life is not going to betray you, that life is going to work itself out without you putting in that work. And that's just the way it works. But we're not going to go there because as you go through these pillars, there's more things to work on. But these are just the minimum basic four that you can do as you're laying there all depressed. You can do these things. Let the real connections find you. This is very important. Don't look, don't search, don't force. These connections will be around you. They'll come to you. They'll gravitate towards you. These are the right connections. At least in the beginning, you can let them come to you, and then you can figure out and you can filter who you really want around you, because it's still got to be authentic, even if they gravitated towards you. And you want nurture, soul feeding relationships, right? You don't want toxic people, negative people, people that have already given up in their own lives around you, because all they're going to do is blame everybody and everything except where the real blame should go, which is within us, right? So if someone, you know these people, you know them, they're negative, nothing ever works. And if something works, they'll find out, yeah, but these are these, yeah, but people, like, yeah, but they're always gonna have an excuse. You're just never gonna win. You don't want people like that around you. You are average of the people around you. And if everyone around you is broke, negative, depressed, just living a toxic life, and then you look in the mirror and you're living that, what do you expect? Right? You got to make a sacrifice at some point and start cutting the world out of these people. Like, you just gotta, some of them are family members. Some of them are living very near you. You have constant contact with these people. You don't have to move to another country, but in your mind, you got to move out of these situations and these relationships. And those were the 4 things that got me from almost not being here right now, making this video, to being better than I've ever been. Better than I've ever. I've never been better in every aspect of my life. There's some things that I'm missing, and they will get resolved. There's no way that they won't. I already know them, and I already know that it's going to get resolved. Just being patient, because once you get these pillars right, and you build those 4 pillars, and you start building that house, that patience is going to be key. You got to be patient, because patience is waiting for that tree to grow, right? Don't plant the seeds and dig them out every 2 seconds to see if they're growing. Plant the seeds and know that they're going to grow. The tree's going to grow. Be patient. However, patient doesn't feel good. Don't think that being patient is this peace and calm. No, patient is hurtful. It hurts. That's why you need to have patience and discipline, because these are things that hurt, but these are the things that allow you to keep growing. Wanted to put this out again, because if I can help one person, my purpose has been achieved. And if that person is someone I love, 10 times better. And if it's someone I don't know, it's meant to be. That's just a destiny. This was meant to be transmitted to you at the right time. You're at the wrong time, and I'm transmitting this to you at the right time, because your time is coming up. Get up. Get up from that floor. Get up from that bed. Connect spiritually. Get your mind right. Get your body right. Get your supplements right. Get your food right. Get moving. And look for that freedom that's going to allow you to make the money you want to make. Because the money you want to make is for the freedom that you want to have. And then get to the end, to those connections. Because you want to leave that to the end, because you want to get up, do these things, get your house right, and then you go for those connections and keep them tight. And I'm not speaking of relationships, or I'm speaking of people that these are the people that you need around you, because they always win. You want to be around winners. Anybody around you losing, you're losing. Because real winners don't even hang around. I mean, they don't even know what losing is. And even if they do, it's a different level of losing when you're losing big. You want to lose big if you're going to lose. Don't sit there depressed and drown in your own sorrow and in a cup of water. You're drowning in a cup of water because you lost perspective. That's all. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of perspective that you're not the first one going through this. You won't be the last one. Stop being the victim. Get up. Start working on these things. These are 4 ideas. As you work on these 4 things, you're going to see how other things develop and other good things start happening. And that's when you really got to be focused. Don't lose focus. Stay focused on these 4 pillars so you can build that house on top of a real strong base foundation. If this is something that can help someone that you know, please share. And if it helps you, let me know. Because like I said, this is tied into my purpose, and it will definitely be part of my growing um, experience in this life. So I really appreciate it. Hopefully you can subscribe to Reminding Yourself, the podcast, remindingyourself.com, and share it, please, with someone that you never know. You never know that friend that you never know where they're at. And a lot of times we're in a really bad place and we don't want anything bad to happen. And then it's too late and you could have done something. That's why my purpose is I could do this, so I'm going to do this. Um, so again, thanks a lot. Hopefully this resonated with you. And I will continue to put out this kind of content because there's a lot more. There's a lot more. And once I'm past a lot of the things I'm going through still in my cleanup of my life and my repositioning, my pivot of my life, I'll tell you guys a full story that I've documented, and you won't believe it until you see it. I went through it all, and here I am, better than ever. So this is you next, all right? This is you. You're up.